grade talk. Look at, I think Mr. Vickers did this one for you yesterday. And then I think while you guys were working on them, I think he maybe even helped you with that one. If you have like 11,999 point something instead of 12,000, is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Because it all depends on how you round it. Most of you probably, did most of you round to 12,000? For this one, did you get 8,000? Okay, good. It didn't come out to that exactly on the calculator though, did it? But it was close, so that's good. Aha, which problem, move this down just a little. Which problem did you get wrong? Because a lot of you got one of these wrong. Number 2, which one? This thing?
Yeah, because I put the 4.
You got the 4.
Inside of them. Like
Oh, good question. Is it okay to have the 4 in parentheses? Totally okay. Yeah, that's a good, yeah, that's a totally good answer. You could have the 4 in parentheses. Like up here, we put them in parentheses, down here we didn't, but it would be totally okay to have that. But did you get the 605 right? Okay, now here's the one. Look at this one. Did you get an answer? There is no answer. Why not? It's not exponential. What in the world does that mean? It's not exponential. You're not multiplying by the same thing. Now, don't feel bad if you got this one wrong. This was kind of a trick question because how do you know that? Well, on your calculator, if you took 1,200 and divided by 875, you get the 1.37. Well, that's no problem. Did a lot of you write an equation with 1.37 in it? You did, didn't you? But if you did the next one down, if you did 1525 and divided it by 1,200, do you get the same thing? No, you really don't. And that's why this one is not exponential. It's a trick question. It's only exponential when you keep multiplying over and over by the same thing. So you just learned a valuable lesson that you have to check to see if it's exponential if you're going to write an exponential function, right? Okay, are we done with that? Questions? No? All right, take out a piece of paper. Take out some paper. 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 Today, what are we doing this afternoon? What are you doing? Games. It's all fun and games. And can you think of any game more fun than doing a math assignment? I can't either. And so that's what we're going to do. I can't think of anything more fun than doing a math assignment. Here's the good news. You already know how to do this math assignment because Mr. Vickers taught you how to do this 3 days ago. So Mr. Vickers is watching you all to see if you are going to catch on quickly because you should know how to do this. All right, write these numbers down. What's my next number?
Shouldn't it be 8 or something?
Think about it. It is 25. What's the next number after that? 36. What's the next number after that? Where's he getting these numbers from? Perfect squares. Yes. Write this down. These are perfect squares. So what in the world's a perfect square? Well, what's 1 squared? 1. What's 2 squared? 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared. What's next? 7 squared. What is 7 squared? That's 7 times 7. What is that? 49. What's next? 64. Good, because that's 8 times 8. And so on and so on and so on, right? It'd be 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, and so on and so on and so on, right? If you're not sure, you could always take out the calculator. By the way, what if this was a test and I didn't give you this list? Could you reproduce it on your calculator? Yeah, all you do is you type in 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, and so on. See how you just keep making the list? 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared. You can reproduce it really quickly and easily with your calculator if you had to. All right, write down these steps. Step number 1, factor out the largest perfect square. This is what you learned how to do on, I think it was it Wednesday or was it Tuesday? I can't remember. Tuesday. Yeah, so it's been a couple days. Step number 2. I think the way Mr. Vickers said this, he said extract. That's where we're going to extract the perfect square. What does extract mean? Take it out. Yep, we're just going to take it out. And then number 3, step number 3 is going to be simplify. And I'm going to put a question mark after the simplify, because sometimes you got to simplify, sometimes you don't have to simplify. Okay. All right, here we go. Do this one. Square root of 8. Is the square root of 8 2? No, it's not. Is the square root of 8 4? Yes. Right? Why not? Yeah, 4 times 4 is 16. It's not 8. 4 plus 4 is 8, but 4 times 4 is 16. I need a number times itself gives me 8. What number is that? There is a number. It's just an ugly number. It's 2 point something, 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 something. Let's try it. The square root of 8 is 2 point something, 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 something. It's an irrational number, but we can simplify this, and we're going to use these steps that Mr. Vickers taught you on Tuesday. Factor out the largest perfect square. Look at these perfect squares. What is the largest one of these numbers that goes into, remember your gazintas? What's the biggest of these numbers that goes into 8? 64 does not go into 8. 8 goes into 64, but 64 doesn't go into 8. 4, good. So rewrite this as 4 times what? 2, because 8's really 4 times 2. I like to underline the thing that's perfect, because that's the thing that gets to come out. The 4 is perfect, so I like to underline it. You don't have to. I just do it out of habit, just because I'm not that smart. So that just helps me remember that this is the thing that's going to come out. Because step 2 says extract. Extract the perfect square. But when I extract the perfect square, when it comes out of the radical, is it going to be a 4? It's the square root of 4. What is the square root of 4? 2. So when it comes out, it's a 2. It's not a 4 anymore. Now, the thing that is imperfect has to stay inside the radical. What was imperfect that has to stay inside? 2. So the answer is 2 times the square root of 2. That's the simplified version of the square root of 8. Is it all coming back to you now? No? We'll do another one then. Write this down. 10 times the square root of 45. How is this problem different than the previous one? There's a number on the outside. I don't care about that number on the outside. It's already on the outside. I know what 10 means. I'm just now learning how to deal with this thing. So leave the 10 where it is. And let's deal with the 45. Can you think of one of these numbers, the biggest one on this list, that divides evenly into 45? 9. 9 times what? And what if you're not good at doing that in your head? Can you use your calculator and say, well, what is 45 divided by 9? And you get 5. Is it, I mean, you get to use a calculator on the test, right? If you want to. If you're not good at doing that in your head, then just type it out like that. I like to underline the thing that's perfect. All right. So
we didn't know if you had class this hour.
we have class this hour.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right. When the 9 comes out, what is it? It's a 3. Does that make sense to everybody? When it comes out, it's going to be the square root of 9, which is 3. So write down 10. 10's just along for the ride, right? 10, we're not doing anything with the 10. But this 3 gets to come out. What is imperfect that has to stay on the inside? The 5. Now, remember we said simplify question mark. Sometimes you got to simplify, sometimes you don't. Could we simplify this a little further? Yeah, what is 10 times 3? 30. So we're going to simplify that to 30 times the square root of 5. Now you get to use a calculator on the test. Can you use your calculator to check your answer? Kind of yes and kind of no. Watch this. 10 times the square root of 45. I get an ugly decimal. But if I type in 30 times the square root of just 5, if I get the exact same decimal, which I do, does that mean the answer is right? Yes and no. It means I didn't change it, which is good. I didn't want to change what it was equal to. But you remember back in the 5th grade when your teacher said, I want you to simplify 6/12. And you said, no problem, teacher, I can handle that. 6/12 is equal to 3/6. You were very proud of yourself, right? And you said, I can even prove it because 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. and 3 divided by 6 is 0.5. They're equal to each other, and therefore that's the right answer. And then your teacher said, why not? Can this be simplified further? What is this? 1/2. And so when you get your answer, checking it on the calculator like we did here is a good way to see if you changed it. If you didn't change it, that's a good thing. But it might not be that you simplified it all the way. You do have to simplify it all the way. All right, let's try 1 or 2 more here and then we'll let you go. Next one here. What is the square root of 99? Do that one on your own now. Write that down in your paper and then see if you can figure out what's the largest perfect square that goes in. Take that out, see what you get. I can see a lot of work done. Because once you get the hang of these, they don't take very long, do they? Sometimes you just got to start guessing and checking. You got to say, let's see, 99. Does 25 go into 99? No, 25 doesn't go into 99. What about 16? Does 16 go into 99? No, 16 doesn't go into 99. What does go into 99? 9. What is 99 divided by 9? It's 11. So you got to guess and check. You got to find one. So we now know that 99 is really 9 times how much? 11.
Wait, how do you know what order to put it in? 'Cause I did 11.
Oh, what if I did it like this? What if I did 11 times 9? Makes no difference, and this is why. I always like to underline which number? The perfect one. Which one's perfect? The 9. So when I underline, that just helps me. It doesn't matter if you put it first or second, because now I know the 9's coming out. When the 9 comes out, what's it going to be? 3. The 3 gets to come out, right? And what is imperfect? No matter which way you write it, that has to stay inside the 11. And so the answer is 3 times the square root of 11. And it doesn't matter which order you put it in. So Maddie brings up a good question. It doesn't matter what order you put them in. You'll get the right answer either way, as long as you remember which one's perfect and which one's not. Okay. Last one. If you can do this one, you can do any of them. Try that one. Try to think, what is the largest number that's a perfect square that goes into 28? That's the hard part. And when you're trying to find that number, is it ever going to be a number bigger than that number? Like, should I even bother checking if 49 goes into 28?
No.
It's too big, right? By the way, is 25 going to go into 28? No, it's got to be smaller than half, right? Because if you divide it by 2, that would at least give you half. So whatever number I'm looking for has to be at least half or smaller than 28. So I don't need to look at all these big numbers. I'd be looking down here at these smaller numbers. What number, by the way, works? 14 is not in this set of numbers. 14 does not work. What number does work? 4. 4 works. And why am I choosing 4 and not 14? Because 4 is in my list of perfect squares and 14 is not in my list of perfect squares. 14 is the biggest. Now, I'm glad you said that, because 14 is the biggest number that divides evenly into 28. But we're not looking for the biggest number that divides in evenly. We're looking for the largest perfect square that divides unevenly, which is 4. By the way, what do I do with that 3? Just leave it there. It's just coming along for the ride. 4 times what is 28? There we go. I like to underline the perfect square. You don't have to. I just do that for my own. My brain's not that smart, so that always helps me to figure out that's the thing I need to extract on step 2. When I extract that square root of 4, what's it going to look like? A 2, right? Because the square root of 4 is 2. And what unlucky thing has to stay on the inside of the radical? 7. Now, do I have to do step 3 this time? Do I have to simplify? I do. Because what is 3 times 2? 6. And is this what you got for your answer? Yay, you got it right. That's what your assignment's going to look like. Let's do this one together. You tell me the answer and then we'll be done. Square root of 75. What is, oops, I think I just gave away the answer. Do that again. Sorry about that. What is the largest perfect square that divides evenly into 75? 25. So I'm going to rewrite this as 25 times what? 3. I'm going to underline the 25 because that's the perfect one that gets to come out. When it comes out, what's it going to look like? What is the square root of 25? It's 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. What unlucky thing has to stay on the inside of the radical? Because it's not perfect. So the answer is 5 square roots of 3. And the way I'm going to type that in is 5, and then I'm going to hit this square root button and then hit a 3. Now, is it going to say fantastic? Way to go. Super. Good job. Wonderful. Any others? All right, let's find out. That's right. Doesn't that make you feel all good, warm and fuzzy that you got it right? All right, your assignment is E1, and you're getting that to an 80. And that's all you got to do. And you have most of the other classes today, it took them about 10 minutes to get it done. You have 20 minutes to get 25 minutes to get it done. This is going to be easy for you. Yeah. So here's one thing I do want to warn you about, though, and that is the problem that some of my other classes had doing these is that it starts out with some easy ones that you can probably do in your head. And so you start thinking, I'm going to do all these in my head. And then all of a sudden your smart score gets up around a 40 or a 50, and you start getting some that you can't do in your head, and then you get stuck. So just get in the habit of doing them on paper because it'll make your life way easier.